From the sun-baked sands of the Levant to the frozen battlefields of northern Europe, the course of human history has been indelibly shaped by conflict. But within this tapestry of conquest and bloodshed, a common thread emerges: faith. In this series, we journey through time to explore the lives and legacies of 10 Christian generals, men who wielded both the sword and the cross. Join me now as we delve into the annals of history and explore the impact of these 10 Christian generals who changed the world. Our journey begins in the waning days of the Roman Empire, a time of great upheaval and transformation. It is here, amidst the chaos, that we encounter Constantine, a young general vying for control of the Roman world. Constantine's path to power would be forever altered on the eve of the Battle of the Milvian Bridge. With his army camped near Rome, facing a superior force, Constantine experienced a vision that would change the course of history. In the twilight sky, a fiery cross appeared, emblazoned with the words, "In this sign, conquer." Inspired by this divine message, Constantine ordered his soldiers to adorn their shields with the Christian symbol. The next day, Constantine's forces, emboldened by their newfound belief, swept across the battlefield, crushing their opponents. Constantine, convinced that his triumph was a testament to the power of the Christian God, issued the Edict of Milan, granting religious tolerance throughout the empire. We move now to the 8th century AD, a time when the Islamic Caliphate had swept across North Africa and into the Iberian Peninsula. Standing against this tide of conquest was Charles Martel, a Frankish leader whose military prowess would earn him the epithet the Hammer. The fate of Western Europe hung in the balance in 732 AD at the Battle of Tours. Here, Charles Martel's Frankish army, though outnumbered, faced the formidable Umayyad Caliphate. Yet amidst the chaos, Martel, a devout Christian, rallied his troops, inspiring them to fight with the fury of righteous indignation. His victory was decisive, shattering the myth of Umayyad invincibility and effectively halting their advance into Europe. Martel's triumph ensured that the cultural and religious landscape of Europe would be shaped by Christian traditions. Our journey takes us now to the heart of the Middle Ages, a time of religious zeal and fervent crusades. In 1099, after years of arduous travel and bloody conflict, Godfrey of Bouillon, a leader of the First Crusade, stood on the cusp of fulfilling his sacred oath to capture Jerusalem. The siege of Jerusalem was a brutal affair. For weeks, Crusader forces, driven by religious fervor, battered the city walls, while the Muslim defenders fought with the desperation of those protecting their homes and faith. Finally, on July the 15th, 1099, Jerusalem fell to the Crusaders. Godfrey, a devout Christian, entered the city not as a conquering hero, but as a humble pilgrim, refusing the title of king. The capture of Jerusalem marked a turning point in the Crusades, establishing a Christian kingdom in the Holy Land. We remain in the Holy Land, but our focus shifts to the late 12th century, a time when the Crusader states faced a resurgent Islamic world under Saladin. It is here that we encounter Richard the Lionheart, a warrior king whose bravery and military skill made him a legend. In 1191, Richard's forces faced Saladin's army at the Battle of Arsuf. Richard, a skilled tactician and a fierce warrior, led from the front, inspiring his troops with his courage and determination. Richard, demonstrating his tactical brilliance, lured Saladin's forces into a trap, unleashing a devastating counterattack that routed the Muslim army. Though he ultimately failed to recapture Jerusalem, his victories in the Holy Land helped prolong the Crusader presence for another century. Our journey now takes us to the heart of Europe, to the tumultuous 15th century, a time of religious upheaval and social unrest. Here, in the Kingdom of Bohemia, a new religious movement, inspired by the teachings of Jan Hus, challenged the authority of the Catholic Church. It is from this movement that Jan Zizka, a one-eyed warrior of almost mythical status, emerges. Zizka, though blinded in one eye, possessed a keen military mind and an unwavering faith in the righteousness of the Hussite cause. In 1420, at the Battle of Witkov Hill, Zizka's outnumbered Hussite forces faced a massive Crusader army sent to crush the heresy. The victory at Witkov Hill not only secured the survival of the Hussite movement, but also sent shockwaves throughout Europe. Our journey now crosses the Atlantic to the New World, to the age of exploration and conquest. Here, in the early 16th century, Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador driven by ambition and a fervent belief in the righteousness of his cause, landed on the shores of Mexico. Cortés, with a small band of soldiers, embarked on an audacious campaign to conquer the Aztec Empire. Driven by a potent mix of greed, ambition, and religious zeal, Cortés forged alliances with indigenous groups eager to cast off Aztec rule. In 1521, after a brutal siege, the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan fell to Cortés and his allies. The victory marked the beginning of Spanish dominance in the New World and the decline of one of the world's great civilizations. Our journey returns to Europe, to the tumultuous 17th century, an era defined by religious conflict and the rise of nation-states. It is in this era that Gustavus Adolphus, King of Sweden, emerges as a towering figure, a brilliant military strategist and a devout Protestant champion. Motivated by a desire to defend Protestant interests in the Holy Roman Empire, Gustavus Adolphus led his army into the heart of the 30 Years' War. In 1631, at the Battle of Breitenfeld, Gustavus Adolphus's Swedish army faced a formidable Catholic force. The battle was a resounding victory for Gustavus Adolphus, shattering the myth of Catholic invincibility and establishing him as the preeminent military commander of his age. His innovative military reforms and tactical brilliance would influence warfare for centuries to come. Our journey now takes us to the British Isles, to the tumultuous English Civil War of the 17th century. It is here that we encounter Oliver Cromwell, a devout Puritan and a brilliant military leader whose actions would shape the destiny of England. Cromwell rose to prominence as a leader of the parliamentarian forces, opposing the royalist forces of King Charles I. Driven by his devout Puritan beliefs and his opposition to the perceived tyranny of the monarchy, Cromwell transformed the parliamentarian army into a disciplined and effective fighting force. In 1645, at the Battle of Naseby, Cromwell's new model army clashed with the royalist forces in a decisive battle that would decide the fate of England. Cromwell's victory paved the way for the establishment of the Commonwealth of England, a republic shaped by Puritan ideals. Our journey takes us now to the vast expanse of Russia in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, an era when Russia, under the reign of Peter the Great, underwent a period of unprecedented transformation. Peter, a visionary ruler with an iron will and a deep devotion to his Orthodox faith, sought to modernize Russia and establish it as a major European power. Peter's ambition brought him into conflict with Sweden, a major power in northern Europe. In 1709, at the Battle of Poltava, Peter's Russian army, modernized and re-equipped along Western European lines, faced the formidable Swedish army led by King Charles XIV. The battle was a decisive victory for Peter and his forces, shattering the myth of Swedish invincibility and marking a turning point in the Great Northern War. Peter's reforms, driven by his desire to strengthen Russia and elevate its standing in the world, transformed the nation into a major European power. Our journey culminates in the 20th century, amidst the global conflict of World War II. Here we encounter Dwight Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces, a man who, though not known for outward displays of piety, possessed a deep and abiding faith that guided his actions. Eisenhower's leadership was put to the ultimate test on June 6, 1944, with the launch of Operation Overlord, better known as D-Day. The largest amphibious invasion in history, D-Day represented a daring gamble, a desperate attempt to liberate Western Europe from Nazi tyranny. As Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy, facing fierce resistance and unimaginable carnage, Eisenhower's calm demeanor and unwavering resolve proved essential. The success of D-Day marked a turning point in World War II, paving the way for the liberation of Western Europe and the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany. Eisenhower, the devoutly religious son of Kansas, had played a pivotal role in defeating one of the most evil regimes in history. From the fall of Rome to the beaches of Normandy, the stories of these 10 Christian generals offer a glimpse into the complex and often contradictory relationship between faith and military power. Their victories, often attributed to divine providence, shaped the course of history, influencing the spread of Christianity, the rise and fall of empires, and the very map of the world we know today. The legacy of these 10 Christian generals is complex and multifaceted. As we reflect on their lives and legacies, we are reminded of the enduring power of faith, the allure of conquest, and the profound impact that individuals can have on the course of human events.